I've been waiting for this moment for quite a while. Got everything ready to go here. I wish I could show you more. I wish I could show you every single thing I did. This is the first ring I made making ever in my life, and it seems to be going along pretty good. But my camera battery, not my camera battery, my Camry TF card filled up, and this phone has always been filled up, so it's only going to go for a minute or two before it fills up. And I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to concentrate on it, so I can't really be offloading these videos and doing all this video editing when I'm trying to make a ring for the first time. I'm more concentrated on making this ring for the first time. But yeah, so I am going to solder it. I cut a couple little tiny pieces of spare silver, because I cut those off to get this ring the right size I want it to be. I'm trying to get it to be size 9, but who knows what's going to end up being. And I just took a couple little pieces off that for hard soldering. I do have hard soldering paste, but I think I'm going to try this instead, because I've seen people doing this, and this seems to be probably a better idea, because God knows what they put in that paste. Usually probably nothing good. And what's cool is I actually have some things, like these flush cutters, which is actually for little tiny jewelry. It's kind of a pain in the ass trying to and now when I'm cutting them, I stick it in the bag and cut it, but a little tiny piece managed to still fly out, even though I did it in the bag. But I used my super flashlight to find it. I've also used that to find a small diamond that came out of my wedding ring. That was on the jeweler's behalf that I brought it to, but somehow I was able to find it, probably with this flashlight. Little tiny diamond, and they just put it back in and gave me a $50 gift card. But yeah, you know that you were meant to do some of this stuff when you already have some tools beforehand. Like I had all these little jewelry because I was doing little tiny handcraft jewelry stuff with like wire beads and all that stuff. I can put some pictures up. Maybe I'll make a video of that. I got a lot of pictures on Instagram of that stuff while I was doing that. So I had some of that stuff. I have files also from that. They're buried in here. I'll get those out. There's my stamping station. Alright, so I am going to fire this up and I'm going to solder it. And unfortunately, because of my video situation, I can't record the whole thing. I could turn on the computer, upload those videos from the camera onto the computer, and that takes a while because that's 1080 HD, freaking big gigabytes. So that video editing's gonna take away time from doing this. But I wish I could, because I just set that stand up and you could see me doing this. But this is the first ring. If I get a hang of everything, I got lots of other rings to make. I have a little family gathering coming up in a couple weeks, and I'm planning to make about 7 name rings. I'm making rings for all the girls. So see how this one goes. I just wanted to do the video of the first ring, because I think it's important too, because people that never done this stuff, you watch the how-to videos as much as you can, and that helps. And but you go to do it, and there's just so many things, that little details they don't even mention about. And I guess I didn't really do any better, but I'm still doing it, so I'll keep in mind any big details that stick out. Alright, let's go for this soldering. Okay, that was actually pretty cool. I contaminated my pickle, but getting that, I guess that was a pretty big piece of solder, the hard solder, which was the same material, silver, the same material wire that I snipped off. I used a scrap piece for solder, and I had to get it so hot that the ring was actually kind of melting and starting to fuse together. So I mean, it's going to be really strong, and that's what I care about more than anything. But it was kind of a stubborn piece. Maybe I should cut one smaller, even though that one was pretty freaking small, but it was a little stubborn. the ring was starting to melt by the time I got that little tiny piece of silver to melt. So, damn, I might try the silver solder paste. It's silver solder, it's sterling silver hard solder paste. And it's probably not gonna take as much heat to melt. Because this ring is, it even kind of has, you can kind of see that it's melted a little bit, but we'll get it back in shape. So there we are. Practice ring. The fire scale and actually came off because of that acid bath. Did a great job of taking that fire scale off. And yeah, you could see it started melting it where I soldered it, but it's together and it's fused together, which is considered the strongest joint is when it's fused together. The only problem when you fuse things is they kind of tend to melt, so it's even the most experienced people do not prefer fusing. But this is pretty cool. I wonder if I should bother cleaning that fire scale out or just go ahead and start filling it in. I'm kind of curious to see how that gold solder paste works. I don't know, this is just beautiful. Something, because the shine of the silver is really nice. And silver is just, I don't know, so much better, I think. You know, if this was gold and I was filing it at all, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm losing gold dust that's worth money. Silver is just like, yeah, whatever, it's all good. It's still worth money, it's just not ridiculous like gold is. And like I said, we did have kind of a meltdown here from my first ring soldering. We did kind of have the ring melted. It fused together. At least it's strong. You know, at least it's really strong. My man drill. My man drill. Ooh, perfect. 8. That's exactly what I am. Oh, maybe a little bit more. 9. The only problem with my mandrel here is it's got these slots in the middle for the measuring. So this is mostly meant for measuring, not so much for working. That might become a problem as I really get into making rings here. I can't just go around it, I really have to move it around, and that's kind of a problem. Well, these first batch of rings are definitely going to have some character. But, you know what? If I get them nice and shiny, which buffing and polishing is right up my alley. Not only do I have all the stuff to do it, I buffed and polished kitchen cabinets for 3 or 4 years in a warehouse. And so I got that whole thing down with the shine. That's another probably reason why I'm kind of drawn to jewelry. I've never really been much of a jewelry person. I mean, my mom had some jewelry pieces, but my dad was never much for a jewelry. But I like it. Oh shit. So much for being a fucking strong joint. Little tapping and it fucking came apart. That is the solder joint too. That's exactly where the solder joint is. Fuck, man. Fuse. That was supposed to be fused together. Well, now I get some practice and now I can try out that solder paste. By the way, this is actually fitting pretty nicely. This is pretty cool. I am already loving this hobby right here. Alright, so let's give that solder paste. It is hard solder paste. So let's give that solder paste, give that a go. Look at that. That didn't take very long. I did delete some videos on my card there. This time I'm gonna put this in the cross-lock tweezers. Should I? You don't really have to. You could just lay it on the thing like that. But I'm sorry, I don't think I'm going to set this up so that I can, well, you know what the hell. Why don't we just do it? Got my cheap ass tripod, which is almost worthless. $10 tripod. It's gonna break my camera because it can't even keep itself standing up. Alright. Do we have focus? Not really. I wish I knew how to focus a freaking camera without doing it manually. Alright. Get this open. Silver solder hard paste. Two needles here. I'll use the small one. I don't even know what I'm doing here, just setting this up. Okay, well that's the cap. That screws off, this screws on. That seemed pretty simple. Here's the hypodermic part. I want to be careful with this because this was not cheap. The silver solder paste was about, ooh, there we are. The silver solder paste was about, I don't remember, 30 bucks. But the 14K gold solder was like 70 bucks. God damn it. That is flowing nice. Better. But it also seems to require more. And of course you want to be careful with this freaking needle. What the hell did I do? Just fucking solder the fucking needle shut? That sucks. Oh, there it goes. Probably needs that amount anyways though. Because the little tiny bit I put on there that looked like it would be good was the smallest little piece of sand grain I've ever seen. When after you burned out the flux. Alright, you want to heat up the whole ring. Okay, that is flowing nicely. Is the camera still going? Yes it is. Use my copper tongs to put it in my already contaminated pickle.